Hi. Getting pregnant doesn't ruin your life, your dreams, your visions, your goals. In fact, having a child actually can be a benefit. So I'm going to tell you my story. I was 17. I come from a conservative Hispanic family from Los Angeles. I went to an all-girls Catholic school, and during the late 70s and early 80s, the type of sexual education that you got was, you don't have sex until you get married. Well, everybody was talking about it when I was 17, so I thought I would try it. One time. 12 weeks later, I kind of noticed my body was changing, and I was in the process of studying for my scholarship because I intended to go to an Ivy League school. You see, I intended to travel the world, become a lawyer, fight for the things that I believed in, and do good things with businesses that I wanted to work with. So, I was certain I had a tumor. I'm dying because, you see, my mom had died 5 years before from cancer. And I remember her tummy growing, so I kind of felt that little funny bump, and I was confident, I'm dying. So I went to the library to figure out what kind of cancer I had, and also to write my last will and testament, because I had things that were really important to me that I wanted to give away to my sisters, family, and friends. While I was studying at the library, I kind of noticed a woman coming over, and she was a friend of mine, and she said, "Linda, what's going on?" I said, "I don't want to tell you, but I'm dying." "You are? What did you do the last 12 weeks? So I told her, "Well, you know, at least I fulfilled one wish. I had sex one time." And she said, "Just a minute." She goes to another section of the library, comes back, and hands me a book. She said, "I don't think you're dying of a tumor. Actually, I think you're pregnant." Oh my goodness. What can I tell you? Screaming, scandal, yelling. My dad was a judge. That was not okay. That wasn't factoring. "Linda, you're going to ruin your life. You have nowhere to go. You have a great career ahead of you." Back in those days, they would put pregnant single moms into hospitals or schools, and then you would put your baby up for adoption. Well, I'm going to tell you, that was not an option for me. I just kind of had to process it. So I spent 3 days crying, feeling alone, isolated, overwhelmed, and thinking, wait a minute, I got somebody inside of me. Okay, I can do this. I'm going to take this little person with me on my big life adventure. It can't be that bad, right? Well, I have to tell you something. After those 3 days of processing, and after I accepted that I was going to be a mom, I knew I was going to be successful, because you know why? I created this vision of what my life would be like. I didn't see myself as being ruined. I just had to work a little bit on this new challenge, which I was going to embrace in my life. And it was really important because, you see, I knew I was going to travel and see the world, and I knew I was going to do this. I felt it. I owned it. And I owned this child. So what did I do? Back to the library again. I did my research. I was looking at options, how I could continue school while being pregnant. I knew that I had to start looking into, how do you have a baby? I didn't have anybody there to help me. Funny thing is, I came up with a plan. I was positive. I had a vision. I had a goal. And I was motivated because, you know, the social scorn 35 years ago about being 17, pregnant, in a conservative family, I was a bad girl. Bad girls, that's what happens to you. Nobody knew that it was one time, and nobody asked. So where we embrace it today as a reality TV show and it's glamorized, it wasn't for me. So I came up with a plan. One of the things I learned was to be patient and persistent. So let's fast forward. I am a professional legal secretary at a law firm. I'm bilingual. I had worked in my dad's law firm, and I was still studying, and I was working really hard. And one day at lunchtime, I was reading a newspaper, and I saw my job description. And I thought, wait a minute. they're offering a hell of a lot of money for what I'm doing. So then I thought, I need to go after that job. So what did I do? I went back to the library. I learned how to write a resume. I talked to people to figure out what I needed to do to get my act together so that I would look professional enough to earn the same amount that the other people were working for the same thing I was doing. So, sent out the resume, found a job. It was perfect. Oh my God, I was so excited. Description, $800 more a month, ka-ching. I'm going to be closer to home. By then, I had 3 little girls, and I was going to be home with my babies, and I was a single mom, so yeah, that's cool. Best thing, back in those days, you had to take a typing test. I typed 120 words per minute. I go ace that, no problem. So, put on my nice power suit, went to this interview. One of the 7th largest law firms in the United States. Ivy League lawyers. Hey, that's where I was supposed to be. Incredible background, international clients. Hey, that's where I'm supposed to be. But you know what I thought? Since I couldn't go there because I was raising my girls, I was going to get secondhand knowledge. I was going to learn for these people. So you see, I wanted this job. I knew I needed to be there because it was going to take me on my path. So I took the job. I went there for the job interview. It wasn't as easy as you think. Did perfect on the oral exam. Did perfect on the written exam. Typing test came. Went into the cubicle where you have a typing test. What is this? It was the first time in my life that I had ever seen a computer and a keyboard. I didn't even know how to turn it on. The examiner said, don't worry about it, take it. No problem, I can do this. As I was taking the typing test, I know the feel was different. The woman comes out and says, there must be a problem. You're only typing 13 words per minute. Now, I'm getting nervous. I want this job. It has my name on it. She comes back again, did the test. Now, really embarrassing, 10 words per minute. Took it the 3rd time. I'm sweating. I am praying to my higher power, please, I need this job. I failed miserably. The woman came back and she said, what do you think the problem is? And I said, well, you know, the typewriter is a completely different finger spacing than a keyboard, and this is the first time I've done this. She said, you know, we also had problem in transitioning. I have a hunch about you. I'm going to give you a chance. So she took me to the lawyers. They interviewed me. They liked me, but there was an issue. I failed the typing exam. And I told them, listen, you want to hire me. You need me. I fit perfect here. Just give me a chance. I will learn how to do this. So you know what I did? I offered to work 1 week for free just so I could prove that I could do it. They hired me. I took an old keyboard. I practiced when my little girls were asleep at night so I could get back up to speed. I was learning from these Ivy League lawyers. I actually got to the point where I was really good at my job. So what I want to tell you is if you have determination and you're willing to challenge yourself and you're willing to be patient and persistent and to be open to push yourself further and say, please give me a chance, it could happen. I'm not going to sugarcoat it and say it was easy for me. And I'm not going to tell you that I took a shortcut because I have integrity. I knew that I was a role model for my 3 little girls, and everybody already had told me I was a bad girl. And I didn't want that for my daughters. So let's go forward. I'm a successful paralegal. I met a really nice Austrian gentleman, had baby number 4. We decided to go to Austria, and that was kind of part of my vision to live abroad. So I took a sabbatical, thought if it doesn't work out, I could come back. Everybody again told me, you're crazy. How could you take your girls to a country? They don't speak the language. You don't speak the language. What are you going to do there? And I said, well, they have law firms. I work for one of the most prestigious ones in the United States. I'll find a job. I speak Spanish. How hard can it be to learn a 3rd language? I can do it. It was part of my vision. I was positive. Well, let me tell you, it was a rough start. First of all, look at me. I didn't fit the norm. I came here in 1994. I lived in Graz. I thought I'd end up in the Pampas. I'm from LA. People didn't react to my forthcoming, outgoing personality. In fact, they thought I was strange. They thought I was superficial. Irgendwo stimmt nicht. So, thank God I didn't know what that meant, because that would have hurt my feelings. So 2 things happened to me. I met a woman who was a neighbor, and she introduced me to a group of international women who actually had the same problem I did. We were professionals, we didn't speak German, we couldn't get a job, and we didn't know what to do. So what we did was, we decided to collectively put our thoughts, our ideas together, and let's do something good. So I created, together with them, a nonprofit organization, and we raised money for charity. Now this gave me a business card. Now this business card allowed me to go to the mayor, community leaders, and say, "Hi, I'm Linda. I want to raise money for you. Tell me, what can I do? There's a group of us. We're very good fundraisers." Well, of course, who's going to reject me if I come in and say I'm going to raise money for you? You opened the door and gave me a cup of coffee. Now I'm developing a new skill. I'm networking. I am fighting for whatever cause I was raising money for. But you would have thought, with all the decision makers I had met, with all the community leaders I had met, I would find a job. Well, guess what? I couldn't. So I had to go down. I cried 3 days, mourning. I couldn't pay for my little girl's formula. I couldn't pay for my daughter's kindergarten. I couldn't pay for my daughter's shoes. And I had to be positive when these little girls looked at me. And the big disaster was, I had to send my oldest daughter to Cambridge to learn English because her school was going. I thought she spoke pretty good English, but she had to go with her school, and I didn't know what to do. I was really down. I felt for a moment I failed. But you see, failure is not an option in my vocabulary. But at that moment, I felt like I failed. So, talked to a girlfriend of mine, down. She says, "Why don't you come with me to a cocktail party? You might meet somebody. You're good at networking." So I went to the cocktail party. I met an Austrian film producer who needed help to launch his business in the United States. I could write contracts. That's me. I can talk to people. You bet. I've learned how to do it. So I'm excited. We have a great conversation, and he says, "You're hired." Hallelujah. I am so excited. My Ciara is going to get to go to Cambridge. I'm going to buy the shoes. I'm going to buy the things that the girls need. Well, go there the next morning, excited to start working, and I found out he looked at me different. Something's wrong. So I said, "Excuse me, I'm ready to work." He said, "I can't hire you." I said, "What?" "I can't hire you." I said, "Why not?" We had a great conversation. Why not? He said, "You're a breeder." I said, "I'm a what?" "You are a breeder." Now, I understood what that word meant in English, but I did not know I thought maybe it was a funny word in German. No, he meant what he said. I said, "What is a breeder?" He says, "Someone that has 5 children like you. Austria, the women stay home." I said, "Listen, I want to work. I want to work for you. I want to make you successful, and I can manage my breeding problem. Give me a job." It has never complicated my life before, so why should it now? I convinced him. I could do the job. So we found a creative solution with this little obstacle about having kids. What he did for me is he got me a tax ID number, which is very important here in Austria. And he introduced me to a tax advisor. At that moment, he gave me, and he doesn't even realize it, he gave me my wings. I could fly. I became an international consultant. I began to put deals together. I began traveling all over the world. 4 years later, I had my first corporation. I was living my vision of what I thought I would have when I was 17, before I got pregnant. I actually am doing things today that are exciting. I still give back because I do believe in the favor bank. is very important. The people that gave me a chance in the beginning, from the time I was 17 to the time, even today, I give back. You gave me a chance, I'm going to give back to society. I'm going to do something to help because I don't feel entitled to it. I feel grateful. I'm humbled. So, today, what am I doing? I am mentoring young people, young entrepreneurs. I support the new generations, especially those who have obstacles and challenges. And I'm not talking about the single moms or single dads, just the ones that have some difficulties to get up and have lost the vision of what their original plan was. Those are the ones I go after. Those are the ones that I feel. Those are the ones that I'm sensitive to. So, what I want to do is give you another thing. Besides the favor bank, about giving chances and giving back, do the 3-day rule. Mourn. Listen, it hurts when somebody tells you you're ruining your life and you're a loser and you're crazy and whatever it is. Go ahead, embrace it, cry, do what you need to do. But get off after 3 days, because I'm going to tell you something. Very simple rule. We have it in Spanish, but I'll tell you in English. The dead smell after 3 days, and I don't like to be around stinky people, so I'm going to get up. All right, and I'm going to come up with a plan. Today, I'm a mom manager. The principles that I apply in my family life, I learned to apply in my business. And the principles I learned to apply in my business, I apply in my family life. And having a bunch of kids are obstacles. Being able to raise them and fulfill the things that you think are important for them, there's challenges. But I believed I can do it. So, I want to show you this 17-year-old. This 17-year-old, she's actually quite gorgeous and brave. Look at that outfit. The thing about this girl is that she had a vision. She was positive, and she was confident that she was going to fulfill her dreams no matter what anybody told her, especially those people that she loved and admired and her friends. She was going to do it. At that time, I'm actually 8 months pregnant with my oldest daughter, Ciara. Here's the next picture. I'm 33, 16 years later, and this is when I found out I was a breeder. And there's my 5th. I learned one thing during this period. I had a vision. I was positive. I was persistent. I was patient. And I also learned during my time to be disciplined. I also research and educate whatever challenge I have to find a creative solution, because I don't give up. I have to formulate my own idea that's going to work for my company, for my children, for myself. There's nobody out there that's going to give you the magic moment. You've got to create it and create that energy so that they come to you anyway. The 5 key principles that I found in most people, successful people that I admired throughout my life, and people that I read, and thank God for the computer and Google, because I don't go to the library anymore. I'm online. And when I read about people that inspire me. And the 5 principles that I find that is a common thread in this fabric of life that we have with each other: be positive. Create your vision. Develop your idea. Be patient as it's evolving, because you don't get this idea like that. It's got to evolve, and you're going to have challenges, but you're going to perfect it. Be persistent. And what I love about Einstein, he said, I'm not a genius. I was just persistent. So true. And be disciplined. Thank you.